Good day to everyone. Let's pass through Path of Exile still first big patch. Let's see what's new and let's provide some feedback as well. Let's go. So, we start from the general improvements and changes. Added the capacity to fast travel between checkpoints within an area. You can now select checkpoints, which will bring you up your map overlay, allowing you to select other checkpoints you've discovered. Okay, TP from checkpoint to checkpoint. They save you some game time. That's a great change, especially for casual players, especially for campaign. Checkpoints for the endgame mapping don't have any impact, so this only is relative to campaign. Passive point respec has been made cheaper, especially at higher levels. I'm sitting on a 1.5 million coin and I was respecking a lot, switching the build and so on. Now it's 50% less gold. Good change, it makes game easier, but there was no need to do it basically. So I don't know what to say about this one. Again, they're tethering to casual players. Added a shortcut to open skills advanced information display by right-clicking the skill on your skill bar. That's a great thing, so you can actually check what does what through your skill bar when you hover over the skill. You can now compare equipped flasks when using a gamepad. Whatever, this is not a game for a gamepad. It can have a gamepad support, but it doesn't make it a game for a gamepad. It's a game for mouse and keyboard. Added chance shards to the currency exchange. That's a good thing. Added a button to travel to your guild hideout when interacting with a waypoint. That one's gonna be very useful in Season 1. Right now, it doesn't matter that much. Now, this is what I'm curious about, because I'm on tier 15 maps now, or better say on the last tier of maps, what they did with mapping. Maps no longer have additional elemental resist penalties inherently applied to tier 6 and tier 11. It's now consistent across all of the endgame at the same value as it was previously tier 1. Maps are easier, but I reached the final tier of the maps, so I guess it doesn't change much for me anymore. I was suffering, and now it's easier. Critical strikes from monsters deal 40% less bonus damage. Again, it's easier. I was suffering for nothing. Chaos damage now scales less aggressively over the endgame. Chaos damage was one-shotting. It had to be tuned down. This is a good change. I don't know if I approve or not, but it's good change for like 95% of player base. The ground laser and ground lightning abilities used by the Rune Knight in expedition encounters now deal substantially less damage. They were one-shotting, same as chaos damage when you open up expedition, and when the knights spawn, they nab you with a sword and you insta-dead. I'm playing as a full tank. I can imagine how it feels on other classes, because I'm playing a warrior as a full tank, let's say a bruiser, whatever. I'm getting one-shotted. Of course, that also depends on the map modifiers, yeah, but it's a good change. The Waystone modifier that adds burning ground to your maps no longer increases in coverage of the area with a higher tier Waystones. Whatever, okay? If you don't know how to avoid the burning ground, you should not even play the game. The Siphon's Flask charges modifier on monsters now drains 10 times less flash charges per second. This was unintentional. This was the most annoying thing for me in the game. When I play, I encounter a rare, and in a 1 millisecond, I'm out of all charge flasks. Okay, I don't have a single charge. Now it won't happen anymore. They will drain your flask charges slower. It's a great change, but again, we suffered. We really suffered. This maybe draining all flasks should be exclusive to the full release when tier 16 and tier 17 maps are introduced. Then rares should go berserk and drain all of your flasks, but not in a freaking campaign like it used to be. Yeah, so it's a good change. Disabled the volatile crystal modifier to be revised in the future pending telegraphing improvements. Okay, one irritating thing less. They're gonna release it again in the full game. The Trial of Fire monster modifier now deals 30% less damage and less for 3 seconds from 5 seconds. Again, the game is easier. Trial of Lightning, Trial of Ice, all nerfed from 8 to 4 seconds. The purple explosives and chaos damage from volatile plants and rare monsters deal significantly less damage. You can't get one-shotted as often anymore. Again, the game is easier. Packs of prowling chimerals in maps now contain less of the prowling chimerals and spawn alongside some zombies. That's whatever. Lower the baseline monster density of Breach, primarily by reducing the frequency of the elite monsters appearing. This is a huge change. I gotta say one thing. First of all, I enjoy Breach the most in Path of Exile 2. I don't believe the change is good for the gameplay, but the change might be good for frames, because Breach drops frames like crazy, okay? And it's borderline unplayable when the game spawns 1000 monsters from the Breach. Yeah, this should make it more stable, and that's why the change is good. But I would like to see this insane Breach before this patch on a full release when the game is optimized. Fixed an inconsistency in the different types of packs that could spawn during Breach encounters. You should now see more different types of monsters appearing on an area basis. That's good, you'll have different loot because of this change. Volatile spawned by the Volatile Fiends Trial of Chaos modifier now accelerate over time. Stormcaller Runes Trial of Chaos modifier now smaller. The game is easier, basically all of this makes the game easier. Improve the hitboxes. The Crossbow Alliance of the Crypt Mercenary Monster that dealt fire damage now deal less damage. They were one-shotting mercenaries with crossbows, easily one-shot a fucking tank. Okay, it won't happen anymore. Basically, the entire game is easier, drastically easier than it used to be. Trial. Honor damage now scales down based on distance to enemies. You can now take up to 35% less honor damage when in close range, tapering as you are further away from the monsters. Melees are in a huge disadvantage when playing the Trial of Sekimas, and 35% is not enough, 50% is enough, you know, as far as honor damage goes when you play as a melee, not 35. Again, I'll play my melee, for example, with a Sunder, so I can reach enemies far away. I won't get in close. They just deal way too much. Fix the bug, damage over time, dealing 3 times more. Okay, Skitter Golems no longer use basic attacks. Serpent Clan, Burrow, and Ambush attacks now have improved visual telegraphing. Okay, so you don't lose honor like an idiot. Basically, the Trial of Sekimas is also easier. You can ascend more easily. Now, as far as skill balance goes, that's a long freaking list. I won't go through it. The reason is very simple. Find the class you play with and find the spell that you're using. This is gonna change like 1000 times, if not even more, till the full release, so it's pointless to speak about it. They're monitoring it, and they're gonna change it 1000 times on top of this. So we're gonna skip through the skill balance completely, because it really doesn't matter. Now, I know it can impact some builds that you're playing with and so on. Maybe it's gonna even impact my build, but luckily, respec is very easy, yeah, and there's plenty of different builds that you can play with, so it's not that terrifying. The thing that I would like to see is changing of Ascendancy. That's what I would like to see, so I can test out the other Ascendancy as well, and that's a must for the next patch. Support gems balance. Again, this is gonna change 1,000,000 times. Item balance. The charm modifiers on belts have been made substantially more common. +1 to charm, +2 to charm, and now appear at much lower levels, so you can equip more charms. That's a good change, because it was very hard to acquire, and the prices were also inflated because of it. That's a good change. Everyone will have multiple charms on their belt. The unique item, the Adorned, now applies to the time-lost jewels. As far as unique items go, they're all useless, work in progress, and they're made for level 1 in campaign. Once you're level 20, 30 and above, you can stop using all uniques in a game. They're completely useless. It's early access after all. The time-lost jewel modifier of regeneration applies 3 to 7% increased life regen rate to notables in radius from 1 to 2% existing. Okay, that's for the specific build. It's nothing special. And then there's bug. What can I say about this patch? As I said, the thing that I would like to see the most is to pick multiple ascendancies on the same character. Okay, that's the thing that's really important. As far as I can tell, it's not introduced in this patch. And what's the main highlight? The game is drastically easier. They succumb to pressure. GGG succumbs to pressure. 95% of players could not even play the game because of how freaking hard it was. I hope that they're just nerfing early access, and I really hope to see that crazy difficulty back for the full game, because that's what makes it special. You want to play easy game, you're gonna play Diablo 4 as an action RPG. Path of Exile 2 should remain a very hard game. That's gonna require way much more of you to master it. I hope they won't succumb to the pressure. I really hope so. Because most of the people that are whining on the game and how crazy hard it is, they don't know the basic rules of the game and then don't know how to play the game. And the most important thing is, they won't be in a game in 2 or 3 years from now. They're whining now, they're gonna switch to some other game, and who's gonna remain in Path of Exile? Veterans will remain. Veterans, I guess, want a harder game, because it's more fun. Anyways, it's a solid patch. I'm having a blast with Path of Exile 2, and for sure, I'll keep coming back to it all the way until the full release is out. Right now, how things stand, early access of Path of Exile 2 is easily the game of the year. Even though it's early access, it's the best game of 2024. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you on the next one. Thanks for watching.